Why time heals nothing with narcissistic abuse. Hey, it's Tamie M here of TamieMCoaching.com, empowerment life coach and creator of the Freedom Class. And what I want to talk to you about today is why time isn't going to cut it when it comes to healing from narcissistic abuse. Now, before I begin this video, I just want to quickly announce that we have a few spots available in the calendar this week for the free one-to-one consult with either myself or a member of my team for the Freedom Class program. So if that's of interest to you, be sure to stick around till the end of the video for the announcement on how to enroll and sign up for that consult. And with that, let's get started. So let's talk about why time heals nothing with narcissistic abuse. We've all heard the saying, time heals all wounds. But the truth is, that's a lie. It's not time that heals anything, in particular, the emotional, psychological, and spiritual wounding and trauma that we endure when we're on the receiving end of narcissistic abuse. Time doesn't take care of that. It's what we do inside of time. It's what we do with the time that makes the big difference. Think about all the people that you know who are in later stages of life, who go through life acting like wounded 3- and 4-year-olds, especially when they're triggered, and often they're very easily triggered, right? We all know these people in their 60s, 70s, and sometimes even their 80s who are fully wounded, traumatized little toddlers, acting out, having temper tantrums. Clearly, time hasn't healed a single thing for these people. If time was all it took to heal from narcissistic abuse, I wouldn't have clients well into their 60s coming to me for help in terms of healing and recovery with regards to the narcissistic abuse they endured in their marriages, they are currently enduring with their adult children. And when we start to do the work, they realize that it all started way back when in their early childhood experiences. If all it took to heal from narcissistic abuse was time, I know many of you can relate to this. I personally would not have repeated subconscious patterns on autopilot in my romantic life well into my late 30s that were an actual vibrational, energetic, emotional, psychological, spiritual match to what I lived in the first 5 to 7 years of life and beyond, but especially in particular what I lived in the first 5 to 7 years of life. If all it took was time to heal from that stuff, I wouldn't have been repeating, again, on autopilot, those subconscious patterns over and over and over again for decades. It wasn't until I made the decision to stand still, go inside, and do the deep dive healing work required to make conscious contact with what was going on with me subconsciously, touch on, acknowledge, up-level, heal, and shift the old wounding and trauma that the external reality began to change for me. And over time, doing that work within time, everything began to change. And today my life is very different, having done that internal work for a very long time. But time itself was not enough. It's not ever going to be enough. And the reason is, as I often say, so you might have heard me say this before, but it's worth repeating, in particular when we're talking about whether or not time heals all wounds or time heals what we actually live and experience with regards to narcissistic abuse. 95% of the game of life is subconscious. Only 5% of the game of life is conscious. So until we shine the light of our conscious awareness onto our subconscious patterns, programs, unresolved issues, unresolved wounding, unresolved trauma, what actually happens is these issues get worse, not better over time. And that is a really key point that so many people miss, sadly, to their detriment and sometimes even their demise, quite frankly. The progressive nature of these issues, codependency, and the effects of having been narcissistically abused, whether that was in your childhood or in your adult life or a combination of both. Right? Left untreated, these issues get worse, not better over time. And the tendency is, we can kick their ass to the curb and, maybe even make a move, right? And we expect that that's going to be enough. And that's very surface level stuff. Certainly extricating yourself from the dysfunctional, painful, toxic, abusive relationship dynamic is a very good first step. Extricating yourself from toxic environments and situations, a very good first step. But it's not going to be enough to heal what's going on inside of you that caused you to attract this, to call this into your reality to begin with. That's not victim shaming. That's radical responsibility for my life and my experience here on planet Earth. There's a big difference. You are not responsible for the appalling attitudes and behavior of an empathy deficient, conscienceless individual who chooses you as a target. But if you have a pattern of attracting emotionally unavailable people who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, people who are toxic and harmful to your emotional, psychological, spiritual, and sometimes even physical well-being. If that is your pattern, that's not going to change for you by kicking their butt to the curb or making a move, changing jobs, changing environments, and doing nothing inside of you to address whatever it is that you carry subconsciously that pulls this into your life. Chances are good, if you're tuning into this, you've already noticed that there's some patterns going on in spite of your best efforts, in spite of all the personal development books and all the workshops and all the seminars and all the life coaches who knew nothing about codependency and narcissistic abuse recovery, and all the therapists who knew nothing about codependency and narcissistic abuse recovery, in spite of years and years of all of that sort of stuff, which had value, certainly. But it did nothing to help me heal from the real issues that were going on within me, inside of me, subconsciously, that caused me to be repeating these subconscious patterns on autopilot. So again, time is not enough. What we do inside of that time is the big difference maker. If you have a pattern of attracting dysfunctional, toxic, narcissistic, destructive, harmful in any way, people, circumstances, environments into your life, my friend, you've got some work to do. Inside of time, over time, for a period of time, there's work to be done specific to codependency and narcissistic abuse recovery. And the good news is when you get on the path and do that work inside of time, over a period of time, for an extended period of time, everything begins to change quickly. But don't rely on time. Time itself heals nothing, especially in the realm of narcissistic abuse, healing, and recovery. My friends, I hope you got some value out of this today. If you liked what you heard, remember to give it a like, comment below, and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. And as I mentioned at the top of the video, we have some spots available in the calendar this week for the free one-to-one consult with either myself or a member of my team for the Freedom Class program. So if that's of interest to you, check out the link in the description below where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with us. And with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. As always, I will leave you with this. Know your value. Know your value and unlock your freedom. Much love. Bye for now.